Hey, happy Monday. Welcome my entrepreneur Facebook friends. Emily Smiley here. If you are new to this page, welcome. Make sure to reach out and introduce yourself to me. I am a mamapreneur who is really interested in connecting with other entrepreneurs and wanting to learn and build and add income streams, specifically online. Now today, I really wanted to talk about something that's come up a lot with a lot of my other mamapreneurs this last week and even this weekend with my girlfriends that are entrepreneurs and business builders. And that is, it's okay. And someone needs to say this. It's okay to want to build your business without constantly bugging and hassling your friends and your family. Now, I know I've heard this from so many people. It's not hassling, it's sharing, or we're not hassling them. We're just, it's a no, until not yet. And that may be true. Like I'm not knocking sharing your business or your opportunity with them. But if you're constantly either having to meet a quota in your business or, even if you make jelly or jam and you sell it at booths, you don't constantly want to have to circle back to those same people for those sales to make your business grow. It's a great place to start. It might even be a great place for, new people on your team. But when push comes to shove, especially if you're in network marketing, the number one struggle for network marketers is they run out of people to talk to. And so what happens? They circle back. And people get tired of it. So much so that I would say it's probably the number one reason why people don't want to join your team. They don't want to be salesy. They don't want to, bug their friends and family. They don't want it to be all consuming in their life. And so they say I don't want to be salesy. Now, if you've ever been told, and drop an emoji if you've ever been told this, it's not selling, it's sharing, right? I've been told that. And while a lot of times there is some truth to that, you are sharing, it can be from a very authentic place. The reality is you're building a business. And if anything is exchanged, whether it's a service, a product, or, something, then you are selling. If anything, you are selling yourself, right? So it's okay for you not to want to bug them, right? So you can share and not stalk them. Because I've heard people say, I before this business, my friend, I just kept saying no and no and no and no and no and no and no. And I'm like, I have no desire to do that, right? I don't want to build that way. I don't want my success stories to be people talking about how I wore them down. Can anybody else relate, or am I the only one that doesn't want to build my business like this? And I feel like so many times people feel like they're damaging their relationships with their friends and their family because they're spamming on their news feeds, their product and opportunity. They're cold calling or messaging, friends. How many of you guys have gotten that? Hey girl, long time no see, I knew you from college, and oh, your skin looks amazing. What do you use for your skin? Let me send you this, and then spam my link, right? People are onto that. It reads really inauthentic, and it's become less and less effective because people are really tired of it. It's a real turnoff to people when you're trying to fake build this relationship, but really you ultimately have an agenda. And that's okay. If you're building a business, hey, look, I get it. You need your sales. You need to sell products. You need to, you need your business builders. And it doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter if if it's healthcare or skincare, or like I said, you're making jam in your basement and you're selling it. You want to read authentic and share with your friends and family. But the reality is, to build a big business, you need to do bigger, right? So then what do people do? They go online. They go on social media. Well, then how do they build online and on social media? Well, usually once you start to build online, you're messaging that, hey girl, long time no see, and you're trying to fake your way until you can get to that, right? And I get it. You want to attract, but it's like hit or miss. You're throwing stuff out there, and for every sale, let's say you get, how many people are you really ticking off, right? Or maybe you're just like me. You're just like, okay, this is really time consuming to continue to circle back and convince these people to buy your stuff or look at your product. when really you're wanting to find people that are more in your niche that you would like to connect with. That is the beauty of real attraction marketing and social media building. And that is the primary reason why I built this page, was because I just kept running into my friends who, were in all sorts of amazing businesses, right? I don't want to convert them, but when you learn something good, you want to share it, right? And so I just see people like just defeated because they're just so tired of being told no. They're only being told no because they're circling back to that same 100 list. And then what are you told? You're told to build new relationships, right? But then the whole reason why you're building that relationship is really with an agenda in mind. And so I personally found it exhausting to constantly have like an X on everybody's head because they were constantly a prospect for my product or opportunity. Yes, I was sharing. Yes, I want to share it with everyone. But the reality is, to build a truly big and successful business, it takes time, right? So, if that's making sense to you, let me know, because I just didn't want to be that shake girl, right? Or that lifestyle girl, or that, buy my stuff. Like, that's what everybody's doing now. So how do you make yourself stand out? How do you really get a content strategy for social media that is productive and that makes sense? So many people are using, the buzzword of attraction marketing, but they're doing it so wrong. And then when you get and you're talking to new people, they're really just tired of you bugging them, right? So guess what? People know what you're up to. They know that you're in business, they know what you do, and they will ask. I have found that if you don't tell people, that actually is more effective than if you spam them. So, if you want to be followed, then be interesting, right? I mean, that's just how it is. So here's the deal. That was me, right? Most of the people I talked to were tired of this. It felt inauthentic. It just felt super salesy. You're always working. You're never off the clock. Like, everybody has a, X on their forehead, because you're really only building these authentic relationships to really expand your business. Now, that could be putting yourself in all of these different things. Maybe you're in the gym because you want to get healthier, but you really join a new gym because you're there to meet other people. Like, I get it. So for me, I found that super time consuming and really ineffective. And those were not my business builders, right? So then I'm like, everybody seems to be struggling with this, and no matter what business that they're in. So why not go online, which people do, but do it more effectively? So what if the average person who is not taught how to build on social media, what if you had step 1, step 2, step 3, right? If you want to do it differently, do it differently. And stop blindly following your upline. And that is really what I've learned. And when I did that, it was so freeing, because we're told to build it however we want. It's our own business. But then you feel this pressure to conform. Like, this is how we do it. Well, this is how we do it. Well, you make your list. Well, you just constantly build those relationships. And then, well, why are you not getting enough sales? Well, you're not really selling, you're sharing, right? These are all like lies that we're kind of told in network marketing or in building a business. So instead of blindly following, admit, hey, that's not me. I don't want to be that salesy person who wears their people down, and they're only successful because they wore enough people down. Like, I don't know about you, but I didn't want to go through that many numbers, right? And this is okay. But when you get to the point, for me, I had to pause this and say, okay, I know that this is what I don't want to do. So what do I do? What do I want to do? I have a kid in my room. Mamapreneur. Anyway, so my point is learn to do this correctly. And if you don't have anyone that you're learning from, that is like my passion. I love connecting people with people who are interested in doing it differently, and that being told that it's okay, stay in your company, do what you love to do. You love your products. That is the number one thing that I got across the board. People love their business. There's a reason why they got into that. But the struggle is they don't want to constantly be working. They don't want to constantly need those sales from their friends and family. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to build an audience. That's the number one thing on social media that you need to do. If you're in health and wellness, you need to build a health and wellness following. If you're in makeup, I do see people doing like tutorials on that kind of thing, right? Even if you're not to the point where you're starting a blog and you're running ads, or you have a sales funnel, even if it's before that, even if you don't even have a business page, which I highly suggest, right, for whatever niche it is that your business is in. We're not taught that. We're not told that. We're told, write out the people, who's your hairdresser, who's your waiter, who's your waitress, and I just didn't want to build that way. And that's okay. And so if that's you today and you just need to hear that that's okay, that you don't want to build that way, then this is for you. Because there are other ways to build online where you're not bugging your friends and your family and writing out your list and everyone has an X on their head. So, it does take time. It takes skills, and most people are unwilling to do that. But I also find a lot of people are willing to do that. If you're willing to message people that you haven't talked to in 20 years, hey, and you're willing to put yourself out there that much and have those conversations, then you're probably willing to take this and learn the skill set that's involved into, what it is that you want your business to do, whether that's building a new following. Now, I have to tell this story because I hear this all the time. Comparison is the thief of all joy. And I hear a lot of mentors and, coaches and people that have been in for a long time, or even not in for a long time, and they compare and they tell their new, people that they're trying to bring along or coach or help. And they're like, well, look at so-and-so, they did this and they're not having an issue, and they've done this and they've done this in months. And, maybe they broke records and they're at the top of their company. But the reality is 98% of people in this industry still struggle. So you're pointing out your rock star and you're comparing that to your newbie. And that's so unfair because you don't want to compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. That took them years to build that following, or years to build that skill set, or that circle of influence, right? When I got in this, I had 0 circle of influence. My influence was the students in my class, and that was it. Maybe a few of the parents, but most people don't want to go there. So if that's you and you want to do it differently and you don't want to reach out in that kind of environment, and I get that a lot. People are like, I really don't want to share this in my work, but that's really the only people that I'm around. Okay, well then let's look at another option. How could we expand on, your circle of influence? Well, you need to build an audience. You need to learn online skills to do it correctly, to attract people. Then you connect, then you convert, right? And so many people skip that step. They're like, oh, I'm using attraction, right? I'm, buy my stuff. And people are onto that. They're onto you. They know. And then they try to skip that step of connect and they go straight into convert, buy this. Oh, let me DM you, right? Do you see that? People will go, well, why don't you just tell me? Yeah, okay, well, part of it is because they want to keep it off. But part of it is, right, they're going to give you a link. They want to push you in that direction, right? Buy my stuff. Instead of just really giving the value and leaving it at that and adding value. It's constantly, someone says, commission breath. Ugh, right? Nobody wants that salesy person. Nobody wants that person where you feel the whole time their underlying things to sell you something, right? Let me DM you, right? Okay, let me do that. That means I'm sending you a link to something. Right? I see it all the time. LinkedIn, all of these things you're connecting. And that's a platform where people are on there to do business. And still I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really working for you? I don't even know you. And you're sending me all this stuff that I haven't asked you for, I'm not interested in, right? Just tell me about yourself. And so if you're building a business, it's okay to build differently. And it's okay to pause and recognize that you're in a learning phase of doing it differently, because it doesn't happen overnight. So stop comparing yourself to other people who are the rock stars of there, because you're looking at the top of the iceberg, right? And you didn't look at all the stuff underneath that they've had to, work out and work through, and the hours and, the previous chapters, right, that they've had to do. You just have to look at your own life and your own business and, what you want. And what I found, which is why I made this page again, was because I wanted to add value to people so that they were being told, at least somewhere, that it is okay to not want to blindly follow whatever they're telling you to do just because it worked for 2 or 3 people, right? Just because you want to do it differently. You're like, oh, do your own thing, but do our thing, right? Don't be this, but do this. Don't do this, but do this. I get it, success leaves clues, but the magic happens when you make it your own. And it has to ring true for you, right? So I personally needed like step 1, step 2, step 3. I needed a system that I knew that would work because I didn't want to just jump on social media and be like, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, let me DM you, right? Like I've blocked so many people from doing that. I look really funny when I'm doing that, but it's how people look, right? So again, I'm not saying don't share with your friends and family. I'm not saying don't put your business out there. I'm just saying if you desire to continue to be successful and build it differently, it makes sense to build online, right? Like I was talking with someone that literally like hand makes all of these things and she was running booths. Well, she's a mom, so it takes a lot of time and effort and energy to run these booths. And even though she enjoys running these booths, right, she wants to build a little bigger and a little more effectively, right? That's what we all want to do. So we were talking about how we could do that and still really connect with people. And I was like, well, you know, you could really just add people in, you know, either a Facebook group or your Facebook page where you're giving, you know, value on this or how they could use it or that. And then when they're letting you know, they go through this. And she was like, oh, that's a great idea. I love this. And then that way, if your friends and family would like to be added into this, that's great. In the meantime, you're constantly expanding and reaching new people all over who can reach out to you, and then you can make it work that way. It's more duplicatable. It adds a system. It's not constantly on your personal page to just your friends and family, because guess what? If you're trying to grow an audience, eventually your friends and family, your personal page is not going to be. Number one, Facebook doesn't like it. Just saying, if you're doing business, you need a business page. And you have to get in front of new people. Well, how do you get in front of new people? Well, social media is not going anywhere. It's where it's at. It's how you do it. And I love connecting. And that's the other thing is people are saying, well, it doesn't ring, you can't build relationships. That's bull. I have talked to more people since I have just started like talking with other entrepreneurs and other businesses than I ever did before. Like ever did. Like, hitting the sidewalk or whatever you want to say, right? So I didn't want to be known for wearing down my friends and family. I didn't want my success to be like, yeah, she hounded me, right? So that's okay. If you needed to hear that today, hopefully that makes sense to you. Attract, connect, convert. Attract, connect, convert. Don't forget the connect piece. And connect with new people. And if you don't know how to do that, reach out. I would love to share what I've learned. It's literally my jam these days. Don't skip steps, right? I wanted to work normal hours. I wanted to work normal times, and I wanted to be able to put my business down and go live the rest of my life. So if that's for you, if that's you and that makes sense for you and that's your number one piece, your number one reason, then take the time to develop the skills. Stop hassling and haggling your friends and family. Figure out what you want from your business and how you want to build there. Go find your step 1, 2, and 3, or reach out and I'll share what worked for me, and go get it. Go crush it. I hope this was helpful, you guys. Motivation Monday, that's the point. Motivate, inspire, educate. I will see you guys later this week for the next one. Otherwise, go crush it, and I will see you later. Bye.